Most expensive things in our eyes becomes absolutely rubbish when we face death. When we face death, everything becomes nothing, meaningless. The house I used to fight for, I say, take it please. The car I used to argue about, I said, I don't want it, it's not mine, it's yours. The money that I was saving in my pillow and in my bed and under the bed and in the roof and under the foundation of the house, it is nothing but piece of dust. Since I'm dying, then everything is meaningless. My beloved, why do we have to wait to face death to realize the truth? Why don't we realize the truth while we're still alive? While you're still strong in the flesh, look at money and say, I'm going to give it to people starving in Africa. When you look at a house, you say, it's not mine, brother, it's yours. When you drive a car, say, the car is not mine, you can have it. Is this going to cause a trouble between us? No, 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 no. Have the car. I'd rather lose the car and not lose my brother. Why don't we realize this truth? We fight over materialistic things. We kill each other because of gold, because of wealth. And at the end, when we face death, everything becomes meaningless.
Who is more easily bored in relationships, men or women?
Women.
If women are more easily bored, why are they more likely to want marriage and commitment?
Status.
If women are strong and independent and don't need no man, why does the pressure of marriage and commitment typically come from women?
They're liars.
How long do I think I'll live? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, and I'm very, very conscious of this. Enjoy everything. Enjoy the sunshine through the window as you sit in traffic. I enjoy every single day I'm alive. A bad day is coming. For all of us, right? There's a 100% probability that either we're gonna die or someone we love is gonna die. So a bad day is coming. You will have a reason to be upset soon enough. That's a fact. Why are you doing it in advance? Like nothing's wrong today. Oh, well, you have a flat tire. Boo-hoo. Like people are so emotionally reactive to low-level stuff. I don't get that. Instagram is depressing. Unless you're at the very, very top echelons of life, it's depressing. Social media is the reason everyone's unhappy and depressed. It really does depress people. But on top of that, it is the biggest opportunity in the world. So it can either ruin your life or it can make your life. And I always say to people who come to me and say, like, because I had people say to me before that social media depresses them, and I say, you need to be producing for social media, not consuming. You sit there and you find yourself wasting an hour just consuming, I think it's an easy path to self-destruction. All the girls who stick up for me are objectively beautiful.
Here's 5 more things I absolutely love about Andrew Tate.
I have had nothing but positive encounters with Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate, he is the only person who speaks the truth. And at a time where we really need to hear these things.
Andrew Tate is a good friend of mine. He's such a nice man. He's very generous. He's always been respectful of me and others around him.
Andrew is my still great friend. He's a great guy.
Women need rights, women need protecting, women should be equal under the law. Completely agree.
They said they wanted women to work so people could pay more taxes, no?
They want people to work so they can pay more taxes, double the tax base. But you know what else they wanted them to work for?
Get the kids out of the...
Get the kids out of the influence of the parents, right? When the woman's at home and the father's at work, those children are learning from the woman who's probably learning from the father, and you get to instill your own beliefs in those children. Government doesn't want that. Government wants the children to belong to them. So they get the woman out of the house and they send you to school for as long as possible to reprogram you. This is why you will see YouTube videos of children arguing with their parents, and their parents will say that's not true. And the children will say, I learned in school that a man can be a zebra, or whatever they learn. And they start arguing with their own children. You don't own your own children's minds anymore, because your children's mind is owned by YouTube and the school, right? And the school will say to you, if your parents ever yell at you or get aggressive to you, you come to me, and we'll tell the police. Don't worry about that. So they're doing it to brainwash the children, right? Because this is how you control the future. So the whole educational system in and of itself is a scam. They use feminism and the whole women's rights bullshit to get everyone's children into the indoctrination machine. They keep you there as long as possible. The reason there's no revolution, despite the absolute tyranny we experience here in the Western world, is because most men aren't allowed out the house because their wife will get mad at them. You have to be home at 10 o'clock. Come home. You're not allowed out.
Well, what about the kids? Should he be home?
Sure, you should be home for your kids. But my point is, you're not going to feel like a king or feel brave enough to go and rebel against the New World Order if you don't even feel in charge of your own house. If you're not a king in your own house, then how are you a king anywhere else, right? And the law is set up in a way in the Western world.
Like that.
The law is set up in the way in the Western world where men have absolutely zero power. Most men are clinically depressed, working jobs they hate, in sexless marriages, and they know they can't leave because they lose the house and they lose the kids and they lose everything else. So they don't have time to be concerned with anything that's actually happening in the world. They keep us divided and distracted. And empowering females is the easiest way to weaken the will of men. What happened when the Romans conquered the Greeks? The first thing they did was kill all the fighting age males. And we live in a world now where they are deliberately killing the fighting age males. They're killing the spirit, the warrior spirit inside of men. And they're doing that by motivating females and empowering them to the point where they're going to sit there and go, you know what? I'm a feminist. You can't tell me what to do. I'm allowed to go out with my friends. He's just my friend. I'm allowed to sleep at his house and drink vodka. Oh, I only sucked his dick. What's the problem? You know what? Fine, we get a divorce. I'm taking the fucking house.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
There is a new fascism in the world today, and it's in the West, and it is a homosexual fascism. It is a sexually immoral, perverted political movement that is persecuting men and women of faith who believe in Jesus Christ. For a long time, the church, we thought, what would be the threat to us in this country? Would it be a military invasion from another country? Where would the persecution come from? Did anybody envision radical homosexuals and lesbians having immense political power, that they could put people in prison? Did anybody envision this?
The new definition of racism in 2022 is anyone that does not agree with the Democratic Party.
Nobody asked what job she did. Nobody asked how many times she went to the club. Nobody asked if she had time to go to festivals. No, you had 70 sentient beings, including myself, full of life from one woman who dedicated herself to being a mother and a good wife. That is beautiful. And if you sit here and genuinely think that you're going to work your ass off through your fertile years and by the age of 54, you're not going to be suicidal alone with a cat, then you're dumb. The happiest women on earth have children and a man who's paying the bills and their mothers. The happiest people on earth. I guarantee it. Your mothers, ask your own mother, do you regret having me? She's going to say, of course not. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. So now you're going to sit here and you're going to end your own bloodline? All your ancestors were out there surrounded by saber-toothed fucking tigers trying to survive on the streets out there in caveman days just to get to the final end where we have all the medical care and you can live in a nice warm house for your fucking selfish ass to say, no, I don't want kids. I'm too busy in the fucking strip club or going to fucking Mallorca to have a pina colada on the beach. It's absolutely insulting to your entire bloodline. Everything everyone above you has ever done and struggled for. All the times your grandparents went to work when they didn't feel like it, just for you to exist, for your selfish ass to say, no, me and my passions and my dreams and my shit drawings and my Instagram page is worth more than ever having children. You're a selfish fuck. Fuck that. You should all have kids.
Some people say we're short 300,000 teachers in America, but we're hiring IRS agents. What is wrong with this, man? We need teachers, number one. Number two, we need new curriculum. We took our kids out of the school system here because I'm like, I don't want them in this system, dude. It's too slow for them. It was too slow for me. All my problems started in school. That's where I got in trouble.
Well, I mean, we also started tracking students. Like that started, I think, back in like the late 70s or the early 80s, where you started dictating a child's potential when they were 5 or 6 years old. And we know now that's literally the worst thing you can do because you have no idea idea how a child is going to learn best moving forward, and we think everybody learns the same, as opposed to actually letting kids find the things that they're excited about.
They're doing studies today that said a kid can watch a cartoon, play a game on his phone, and completely duplicate the argument that went on with the husband and the wife. And they contain all that information. But what do? We drop them into a classroom where they have to focus, and then we label them with some kind of ADD, ADHD. Then we medicate them. The whole time we're teaching them a curriculum that has nothing to do with the world they're going to walk into.
Yeah.
By 2030, women between the ages of 25 and 44,
it is going to be over half
of women of marriageable age will be single for the rest of their lives. In fact, they are so certain of this that they did this research on Morgan Stanley so their investors would know what to invest in. So invest in box wine, right? And invest in cat toys, invest in
it's not a joke, guys, when we say this.
In ovum freezing. And
every single news outlet does this. It's not just Corona. It's not just politics. There's a whole bunch of agendas and things you cannot discuss. Immigration's another one. I'm an immigrant in Romania, right? And I'm mixed race. I'm half black, half white. But I also do know that certain ethnicities commit crime more than other ethnicities. If you say that, you're going to get banned. If the video gets taken down right now, it's because of what I've just said. But it's true. But it's a statistical fact.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said that there's a statistical fact that certain ethnicities commit crime at a higher rate than other ethnicities. Statistical fact.
Okay, but I don't think this is a reason to take this video down.
Me neither. They should not take this video down. But the truth is that in certain countries, they don't have an infrastructure which promotes law and order. And if you allow these people into your country under the name of immigration, you're going to have a higher rate of crime. The European Union has decided to flood its countries with people from third world nations, and they will not allow you to think otherwise. And you're not allowed to say otherwise. This is what we've decided. And if you want to have a logical discussion about why that's not a good idea, we will delete your video on YouTube, we'll delete your post on Facebook, we'll delete your tweets, and if you continue to talk about it, we'll delete your entire account. And if you talk about it too much, we'll delete your bank account. And now you have no money, and you have no influence, and you can't talk to anybody, and you're a nobody. We will deperson you. This is the weapon that they use. If you talk against the agenda, they'll deperson you. And the agenda has certain subjects, and one of the subjects is immigration, because they have a intricate plan of what they're doing with immigration. The other subject is this fixed election, and the last subject is Corona. If you talk about these things in a negative light, they will de-platform you because they don't want people to hear things that make them think.
Immigration, Corona, and presidency.
Yeah, absolutely. This is absolutely the truth.
I hope you're
a major turning point happening with feminism. It has finally run out of gas, and the Zoomer chicks have caught on that it's a scam.
So happy that women are starting to finally break out of the matrix and realize modern day feminism is meant to literally break and destroy us. The reason we are all so fucked up and unhappy is because we are going against nature, and nature will always prevail and will always win. But that is like true. It's like so funny that it took this long for these things to start to become mainstream ideas. You don't need to be a girl boss. That shit's disgusting and embarrassing. Cut it out. So happy.
Don't you love that? Good. You don't need to be a girl boss. That shit's disgusting and embarrassing. Cut it out.
Period. That's really good, dude.
So I started with the best one, but
That's a shirt.
Here's some similar things. What?
That's a shirt.
Welcome to 2022.
By the way, just pause. Remember how much I was screaming this at Fox News? Women are less happy since feminism. Study came out. I forget the university that did it, but it said when they did these happiness tests in the early 70s, women did much better than they did post Gloria Steinem, whatever wave that was, the second wave feminism. Since we freed them from the kitchen, their lives are miserable. Ladies, yes, if you're a housewife, you're cooking and cleaning. That's true. Not that much cooking and cleaning. And here's the important part. You're cooking and cleaning your own house. Like if you told a dude he had to clean all day, he'd go, fuck. And then you went, your man cave. He'd go, oh, cool. It's going to look great when I'm done.
Andrew Tate thinks bodybuilders are losers and cowards, but he actually makes a good point.
Bodybuilders are losers because they don't want to be bodybuilders. Every bodybuilder I've ever met wants to be a fighter. Any bodybuilder on here who disagrees with me, if you really want to make a point of it, let's get in the cage. And I'll whoop your ass.
Muhammad Ali says it best.
And when a guy comes up with big old muscles, and that means he's tight, and he's like, but men like this are like.
I mean, look at Mike Thurston punching. Through my experience, bodybuilders have an ego. They think that everyone should strive to be huge, but a lot of us want to be lean and move well. Bodybuilding takes building muscle and looking good too far. Andrew Tate thinks bodybuilders are losers and cowards, but he actually makes a good point.
Bodybuilders are losers because they don't want to be bodybuilders. Every bodybuilder I've ever met wants to be a fighter. Any bodybuilder on here who disagrees with me, if you really want to make a point of it, let's get in the cage. And I'll whoop your ass.
Muhammad Ali says it best.
And when a guy comes up with big old muscles, and that means he's tight, and he's like, but men like this are like.
I mean, look at Mike Thurston punching. Through my experience, bodybuilders have an ego. They think that everyone should strive to be huge, but a lot of us want to be lean and move well. Bodybuilding takes building muscle and looking good too far.
People in Russia and China are not sitting around doing identity politics. As I said at the time, they're getting ready. And now you're starting to see, the Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, talked only days ago about how the purpose of what they're doing in Ukraine is to push America out of Eastern Europe, and it is to end the American global dominance in the world. That's what people want. And make no mistake about it, they're coming for what we have. And I've tried to make this point to people over and over and over again. We don't live in some magical rainbow-colored world in which everyone wants to live happily and trade and whatever. Yes, that's part of it. But there are a lot of people in the world who just want what we have. And they're coming.
I think that people are just too quick to say, oh, Connor's picking what he wants, Connor's doing what he wants.
I am picking what I want, and I am doing what I want. When you can rack up $400 million in revenue for the company in back-to-back events, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm living the whatever the fuck I want life. That's the life I live. Whatever I want, whenever I want.
The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less I'll say this right here on the fucking internet. I don't give a shit. People will sit there and go, oh, you can't say that. Yes, I can. A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman, and I'll tell you why. Because that 26-year-old has talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been more places.
It just depends on the girl. He's hanging out in clubs and all these fancy places where all these women go to hang out to meet men and show off. This guy's not hanging out in the Bible Belt.
More arguments, more heartbreak, more bullshit, more mess for me to clean up. Whereas a 19-year-old might
I agree. I don't.
That is so true. They've been through more. That's like the biggest point.
No, I do agree.
I'm not a female. I'm a male. I'm not black. I'm white. I'm not a human. I'm a hippopotamus. I'm not 20. I'm 8. I'm not skinny. I'm fat. 2 + 2 = 5. When is enough enough? When do we say no more to the lies and delusions? They crave the dominance of your mind over reality. It's no longer enough for them to be delusional. You must buy into their delusions, or else you are labeled phobic, a prude, disgusting. They say truth is dependent on the person or the majority, but I am here to tell you that there is an absolute truth, and this truth exists outside of the mind of the individual, and that truth is Jesus Christ. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. You don't have to conform to the mindset of this perverse world. For a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Cling to Jesus. Pick up your weapon, which is the word of God. Buckle down and get ready, because it is time to fight some demons.
Read the United States Constitution. And here's what it makes clear. All the power, not some of the power, all of the power belongs to the people. This is our country. We tell government what they can and cannot do. They do not control the people. This is our country. We're going to take it back. We're circling the walls of Jericho. People are praying in this country. We're circling the walls of Jericho, and God Almighty's going to tear the walls down, and we're going to take America back again. You watch it happen. You watch it happen.
If you have cash in your pocket,
you can go out and spend it, and the government doesn't know what you bought. The government doesn't see that transaction, and they don't like that, but that gives you a degree of privacy and a degree of freedom because they can't stop you from using that cash. But if we completely eliminate cash, and the only way you can transact is with a Fed coin, the government knows every single dollar that you spend and what you spend it on, and every single dollar you're paid and what you sold and who paid you. And that is a very dangerous position to be in.
Why aren't you labeled promiscuous?
Because he's a man and not a woman.
Why are men not taken down and we're poor?
Getting dick for women is easy. People are not praised for doing what's easy. It is very hard for men to get laid. It is not a double standard. It is a different standard. Ergo, men are studs, women are sluts.
We live in a patriarchy, and that's why. You have sex with 20 women. Devin has sex with 20 men. She's viewed totally different than you because of the media and how they programmed us to think about women and men.
But here's the difference. Men don't commit to women who are hoes. People are rewarded and revered for doing what's hard. It's not easy for men to get laid, but any average looking woman could walk into a bar and she can get laid just like that. People are not going to revere you for doing what's easy. This is why studs are praised and sluts are admonished. That's it. And this is evolutionary biology. This has nothing to do with the patriarchy.
I'm very convinced the music industry is a perfect example of how to control morons. Like, I sit there and I see Rihanna, and she's got the best life ever, and she's rich as fuck. It's like, how does she even play an instrument? Probably not. Does she write the music? No. Like, it's all produced for her, and they bring her in the room and they say, okay, we're gonna make a whole bunch of money. Here's your lyrics, and she says, work, 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 work. It's like, this is how you go. Like, it's crazy. And they'll play it on the radio so many times, everyone likes it regardless. Yeah. And then people will buy it, and then she'll go do a concert, and there'll be people in that crowd like she's Jesus. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I've never been to a concert in my life, but I'm just like, what the fucking, she doesn't even play an instrument. Like, what the fuck is this? You can listen on YouTube for free. Like, if the world lost its mind. But this is the world. And like you said, no one gives a shit about the important stuff. Everyone's concerned with this absolute garbage.